Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is DreamHack Open Anaheim, and we've had some pretty compelling matches of Counter-Strike today, and it only is going to continue that way, I think, because right now, FURIA, they have a resurgence dust on that second map, Overpass. There are some problems along the way, but they showed that they're the better Overpass team. But now we go on to Nuke, and both teams have shown great aptitude for this map, so this is the perfect battleground for the finishing match between these two.
Yeah, we saw, obviously, Complexity yesterday put a walloping on Made in Brazil on Nuke. They had a massive CT side. I think it was either like 13 or 14 rounds won on their CT side in the first half of that game, and just crushed that game. I mean, it wasn't even competitive at all. Outside of that, though, they haven't really played it very much with this lineup. I think they played it a couple of times in the Katowice qualifiers, but not much of a sample size to go off of. And for FURIA, this is a map that they've been good on in the past, but I feel like the results recently have been kind of a mixed bag. When you look at some of their most recent lands, like, you know, DreamHack Open Winter, Champions Cup, different things of that nature, it seems like it's been lacking consistency, I guess you could say. So I'm not really sure what to expect here, to be honest.
It is a strange one. I think Complexity, what we saw from them is that they have a pretty rounded gameplay. You know, both teams are going to be strong on that CT side. I think it's like, I think typically with Nuke, it is harder to play that T side. It's harder to crack the defense. And so you need a lot of tactics, strategies. You've got to find ways to condition your opponents, play off of the expectation you set. And that's difficult to do very well on this map. And I think over the last year or so, teams have been really picking up their level in terms of the strategic approach for this map. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what that's going to look like on the T side of either team respectively in this case.
Indeed. So it's all going to come down to this one. It's all going to come down to Nuke to see who's making that grand finals to play against Gen G. We have a chance at an All-Americas finals if FURIA are able to get the victory. Everyone represented there. Or, you know, Complexity, a North American organization, but plenty of Europeans on that team nowadays. But it still has some more American representation either way when we go into the grand finals, depending on who wins this. Now, I'm kind of curious. I'm not really sure like where the loyalties lie out there. I'm not really sure. I mean, is it Complexity or is it FURIA? What do you think, Dan?
I think people are going to be most likely with Complexity. I think that it's such a big brand. It is, you know, hitting a resurgence right now. This team, it's the promised team to deliver Complexity to greatness, and both of these teams have a shot at greatness should they win this map and secure that spot in the grand finals, as you said, against Gen G. And looking at things right now, I'm feeling Complexity at the moment. They've convinced me, Dust.
You're on their side. You've been converted.
I am.
All right.
What about you?
I mean, I had them picked before the series started. Like that, I actually had them picked to win the tournament. That was my favorite to win the tournament. You know, I just felt like the way that Made in Brazil and Ints were looking lately, they looked really dodgy. I didn't really have much faith in them. And then I felt like it was either going to be like Force pulling off something crazy or Complexity or something like that would probably have the best chances to win. And so far, so good. We got Bach out there. How's it going, man? There you go. Jason Lake obviously out there as well in the front row. Where else would he be? Obviously, one of those guys who just really supports his organization. Just so much passion from him, and I think it really kind of sets the culture of that team. Definitely a team that is very hungry to win, and they're pretty close here to this grand finals appearance at the very least.
Absolutely, it's something that I think, you know, we want to see it, you know, happen for Complexity as well. It's a team that, as you say, I think, you know, Jason, who is out there, he's always out there. He's always out there supporting them. He's always out there making sure that they have that. I mean, he embodies what they stand for ultimately. And I think what's really cool about Complexity is that, you know, there's been many, you know, failed projects in the past, and I think, you know, coming into CS:GO, you know, Jason Lake has been looking to put together that lineup for the longest time. And then, of course, with the support of the Dallas Cowboys and everything else that's gone into building this team, I think it's really that moment that we get to see if this team, this brand can really come up once again and be bigger than ever before. And given the fact that if you've been around in Counter-Strike for a long time, you see Complexity and you think Counter-Strike. This is one of the original Counter-Strike brands, so it would only be so fitting that they could once again, you know, take up the mantle as one of the best teams in the world and certainly North America as well. And I feel like with this team, there is definitely the potential for that.
Yeah, and look at the other side of this. You got FURIA. This is a team that was on the come up for some time. I mean, you think of early last year, they had, you know, obviously the big finish at Dallas. You know, they had the second place finishes before that at Rio for DreamHack Open. They, you know, had the big ECS Season 7 finals appearance. They were looking like a behemoth, and then things tapered off. They made the roster change. They brought Henny in for Able J. And whenever they brought Henny on board, they still had a couple of decent results here and there. I mean, they had that big Starlighter season 8 third-place finish. They you know, were doing some good things here and there, but they've also had their disappointments, not making the EPL finals, the group stage at DreamHack Winter. They definitely had kind of a seesaw level of form, and I feel like they have the talent and the drive to also be a really strong team. I mean, you have to understand that throughout the bulk of 2019, this team was ranked in the top 10.
Yeah.
They were, you know, a contender. They were an upset team against elite level teams and could have deep runs, but they slipped all the way to, you know, being just outside the top 20.
Yeah,
so that's a pretty big fall from grace for a team that showed so much promise, and this would be a way to kickstart them back into their own redemption arc.
Oh, for sure. And so many teams are looking for that right now. We had so many storylines like that, you know, of course, with MIBR and ENCE.
Right.
There's other storylines of redemption that we had in this DreamHack Open earlier, but you know, unfortunately for those teams, that this will not be the event where they secure that. And so many teams got to come out of that, the break that we just had into this new year, trying to reinvent themselves, and to only have to like continue the old storylines definitely hurts. But it looks like we are finally going to be live. I know we had a full start just now, but it looks good for here on out. So once again, Complexity versus FURIA for the final map of this semi-final to dictate who will play in the grand final against Gen G. And FURIA will start things off on that T side, and I think that just makes sense.
But, man, they have a lot of the work to do. Complexity showed a brilliant CT side yesterday against their fellow Brazilians over at Made in Brazil. They absolutely shut them down. We'll have to see if FURIA can fare a bit better. As we are seeing FURIA wasting no time, piling it in on this upper bomb site. Here they come, fast as ever. Oboe guarding from the heaven, kind of in a more passive angle. He's got a couple of teammates now joining. Oh my God, they're all... There is a group of CTs up here to hit.
But where the flashbang? There's no flashbang, so they're just going to have to run out and hope for the best. A big wide swing. I don't want to be the first player in that, and it's going to be tough. They'll finally get out there, but only one player makes it down, and he is just food. Man. For FURIA, and that's going to be the 1-0 there. Complexity not really finding themselves in the position that they wanted, but hey, you know what? Sometimes
that got real awkward up there. Everyone's sitting there ready to go.
Looking around.
It was raining men, but not in a great way. Let's put it that way, as FURIA were able to deal with that quite efficiently. Almost a team ace. Great start here for FURIA.
Okay, so in this situation with this force buy, again, we have to worry about the scout. We've got to worry about the chip damage that it can do, softening the players up for the pistols. And so for me, it's good to see there's not too much of an early investment outside. That's really where things go badly. What you want to do on an anti-force buy, you really want to take outside control. You want to take heaven control, and then the A-bomb site is super easy after that point. But that kind of progress to heaven control is where things get bad, and there's a quick swing. Config saw a moment, he saw an opportunity, he goes for it. Doesn't work out for him. He does get some damage though. Yeah,
that was one of those awkward moments where he ran in there, he kind of just emptied everything and didn't quite get the kill, but at least he got away with his life and actually didn't really take any damage. In the meantime, Ramp's being taken over thanks to that entry from Henny. Poison sliding over with the scout, hoping to see if he can't find some type of response. He does tag one somehow, but does fall nonetheless. And so it is a 4-on-3 here for FURIA. Config did eventually get himself a kill elsewhere, but now the numbers are really piling on against Complexity as we do now see it's fallen into a 4-on-2. Config actually still kind of has vision on that bomb, funnily enough. And
yeah, it's quite the angle. Actually, if someone gets the bomb and walks lobby, he might just catch them. But he can't really do much more after that point. Oh, he's going to go down. They didn't see him. They did. Oh, no. Oh, no. This could be so insane.
Surely not, Dan.
Config will walk forward. He's got to... Oh, okay. They're covering for Hut now, so he's fine. That looked like it had a lot of potential, but Blame F is going to be the only person now left in the rounds for Complexity. And really, just doing some damage would be great. And he does manage to find the kill onto Art, which will certainly hinder FURIA's economy, the growth of it, ever so slightly. It's something. It is certainly something. But FURIA off to that good T-side start. And as I mentioned earlier, I really think that, you know, like any Nuke game, I think I would say this about any Nuke match, it really comes down to how well-versed these teams are in playing their T-sides. So you couldn't really ask for a better beginning to it than what FURIA have right now.
They should be dominating this round, shouldn't they? I mean, there's really not a whole lot that Complexity are going to be able to say about it. In this case, Dorado and Art just kind of doing a little stat padding, if we're honest. Blame F actually somehow kind of ninjas his way around all of it and gets a P250 frag onto Art, which has got to be annoying. think everything's just going swimmingly, and all of a sudden that happens, but probably not much more. K-Serrano will go ahead and get the quad, and that's going to be a 3-0 start for FURIA. Exactly what you want if you're a FURIA fan.
It's going to be a tough one for Complexity to get back into this if they don't win this round. So we'll see what they decide to do. They might want to start things off just with a fairly passive approach. This is where things get interesting if you're a caller in FURIA's position, because you can either try to take it slow yourself, play more default, or you could try to gamble and try to find a timing that completely blows up the CTs. And I think there is a school of thought that in a round like this, that it's actually very worth it to take that gamble, because if it works out for you, it's crippling to the CTs in the following rounds. But if it doesn't work out, then they get control pretty quickly again, back into it. And they have FURIA do have a buffer of cash that they can get a buyout next round, even if they don't get a bomb plant in this one. So there's a bunch of things to factor into a decision in terms of how you call the strat for this round.
It is a tough one. Like, you maybe don't want to risk too much because you feel like you're ahead right now, 3-0. You just want to comfortably win this opening gun round and get Complexity's economy in a bad way and kind of start cruising your way to a big victory on your T-side nuke, which would be huge. And sometimes gambling at all on some type of really fast maneuver can kind of, it's a hard mental game to get past, I guess, sometimes. But either way, we are going to see Vinny find that opening blow onto Obo. I think that was over towards either lobby or ramp room. So that's a big kill to catch immediately.
I wonder if they'll go into an upper play now, because taking out one of the upper defenders, it certainly leaves this bomb site a little bit more exposed. And you do see some cycling away from outside. There might be a chance for an upper take coming through. Defense is looking a little bit bad here for Complexity.
Yeah.
They don't have too much.
No, not at all. It's looking really dicey right now for Complexity based on how much positioning, how much real estate FURIA do own on this map right now. And the flashes and other nades are starting to pour in here from FURIA on this upper bomb site. Config down now, all basically on poison, and gets caught in awkward space trying to drop in. And that's pretty much all she wrote for this one. You have to imagine FURIA really clamping down now. Off to a hot start here on Nuke.
Yeah, this is a really great round. It just, again, it shows the comfort and experience of FURIA on the map like Nuke. I think that they had a different plan in mind. They were sort of in the middle of running their default and getting that initial kind of outside control and so on. And then, whoa, okay, Vinny gets a kill on the upper bomb site. And suddenly, they don't even bother with the outside smokes as much. They're just like, let's just start cycling players back. And they had enough control outside to be able to get a mini split. And that kill on Obo forces players out of the outside, so it makes it even easier to have those players around mini, because the remaining CTs have to reinforce the things that they do already have. And so then the upper split becomes really easy to execute. So it's just like a great understanding of the map, I think, from FURIA, understanding the CT rotations really well.
I think that's pretty much spot on. Also just hurt that, when Poison's trying to rotate, he gets busted before he can even get on the ground and actually fire off an op shot. So there's a couple of different things that really played against Complexity in that round. But FURIA, again, playing really well. Everyone's pitching in so far pretty equally as far as fragging goes. This round, Complexity, not a whole lot to work with here, just mostly the M4 on Blame F, and then it's just pistols for the rest. See Blame F, though, getting mega aggressive outside. He is pushed all the way to under Marshmallow, and he's not even done, it seems. Looks like he's trying to get even more ground. In the meantime, though, we're seeing FURIA getting some good damage in over towards the upper bomb site here. Rush, though, is able to fight back and actually grab an AK, and now all of a sudden it's really dangerous. But Blame F got caught on that flank, so that is huge catch for FURIA.
Molly didn't work out for Rush, but he does hold on to the position and the AK. It's on 1 HP again. How many times? Well, I saw it one time before where he did a lot with just 1 HP, but in this instance, he is all that's left, all that stands, and don't know if you can really describe him as even standing at this point with just 1 health. Not too much to work with here for Rush. He's going to need that element of surprise. He has it currently. There's the peak, and the first bullet had to land right on the head, but it wouldn't. In this case, FURIA 5-0. They're really trusting their basics, and their basics are working out for them extremely well so far.
Yeah, nothing special. I mean, I think you're kind of spot on with that, just saying it's just back to basics. And I think that, this round's just one of those things where Complexity kind of have to go for something strange. They can't just play standard. They didn't really have the equipment to do that, and so Blame F was kind of the big playmaker and all that, and he just got caught. He just happened to not be able to get that flank to work, and FURIA able to clean up another round here. They're now up 5-0. They're wasting no time, it seems, trying to get maybe into this ramp room. They do have full control of it now. Oboe forced back off of it as well, so we can't even spot the drop down. Rush, though, has tucked into lower already. He's definitely aware that this could be a real threat. And FURIA doesn't seem to be wasting much time pursuing.
Yeah, they still don't have position complexity really on this lower site. It is just really Rush. And he's going to go for the... Oh!
no!
But he drops straight in his line of fire, and that could be huge. Rush was definitely in a one-and-done position, given the swing that we saw. But that small element of fortuitousness going his way could really make an enormous difference. And especially now that Yuri, as the lurk, is dead, it's a 2v4 on this lower bomb site. They will be able to get the plant in the open, but Keisarato's in a position where he's quite exposed. There's a Molotov on Blame, smokes, flashes, whatever you want for a utility retake to be perfect for complexity. And he's going forward. He knows he has to go forwards. He has to do something, and that could help out. But still, there's so much more left here. They don't know where Keisarato is just yet. As they start to make their way forwards. There's one, there's the transfer. It's not quite good enough. It's up to Henny, and Henny is stuck here behind the flames. He's got to push forwards, 13 health. The defuse is coming through, and there's nothing that he can do about it. Complexity have won the round. Oh, Rush's defense there. You can't...
I mean, he is so lucky. He's probably saying thank you to FURIA for just having that second guy jump right down his face. I don't even think he even adjusted his aim to get that second kill.
I don't think he even realized.
We're going to see it, yeah.
It's just straight,
it's
straight
just
into
a freebie. It doesn't get much more lucky than that if you're Rush.
Yeah, it's just for sure. That's amazing that happened. That's such a big difference maker. But into the next one we go. And FURIA, they have an opportunity to reset complexity after that win, remove all the guns from their hands, take fast, squeaky control, vent control with the smoke as well. Arc with that Krieg doing some really damaging work from that position. And Keisarato also bullying complexity away from this A bomb site. They are so out of position. Forced past the Molotov and into his doom. Poison is down, but Rush and Blame F getting cheeky kills. And all of a sudden, it's 1v3, and Blame has no position.
Yeah, FURIA's been absolutely relentless so far here on Nuke, and their aggression towards the upper bomb site, their trading efficiency. And then, you know, the round before that, it was how quick they were able to take control ramp. They didn't win because they had like this unfortunate death over to Rush, but just their overall game plan and how they've been orchestrating their map control and these takes into these sites has been crazy convincing. And Complexity really appear to be kind of shocked. I feel like they're deer in the headlights in some of these scenarios.
Blame is lucky to be alive. Maybe Blame if can still extract some additional value in terms of kills from this. There's a challenge. Headshot connected. Krieg is great for those kinds of angles with the scope.
I just realized that deer in the headlights comment might be lost on you. I'm not sure if that's a reference here.
Oh, yeah, no, we have that. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's the universal one for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thought so.
Right, so this is looking really bad for Complexity. They take the tactical timeout, and they definitely need it. What they've been doing, it's not really been working out too well for them. And
I'm kind of curious what the adjustment would really need to be. I mean, maybe more outside presence, you know, maybe just, I don't know.
Yeah, so far, you know, it does seem like Poison's not really finding spots with his AWP to be in the right place at the right time to you know, get the shots off, whether it be the ramp rotation, the outside to ramp rotation positions that leave him more passive outside, or whether it, as you say, be a more concerted effort outside where Blame goes aggressive and they get someone in garage and then maybe tuck Blame around the stairs, you know, whatever it might be. There's definitely some outside stuff we haven't seen.
It's also the fact that they haven't really had the utility to challenge the fast upper plays that FURIA have thrown out there. I mean, normally you're going to be able to have incendiary smokes, HE grenades, whatever the case may be, to force FURIA to take damage or second guess pressing that early, and they haven't really had that at their disposal. I think FURIA's kind of abusing that privilege. Well, here it is the normal outside smoke wall. It's the secret. This is a little bit more standard. This is a bit more what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, and it's especially strong against the pistols. You can see they can bypass most things. You have to keep the pace like this, though. Nice frag from Rush, but not too much for his teammates to really do other than that. So there should be a 7-1 on the cards now.
It was inescapable, wasn't it, Dan?
Yeah.
Can't escape the 7-1, can you?
it seems really difficult for Complexity to find a way to stop FURIA pretty much anywhere they go. And that's actually the thing that's a bit worrying. It's not just like, oh, FURIA they're just winning outside, or they're just, you know, these set pieces are really strong. It's kind of like everything that they're doing is working out, and Complexity are finding difficulty in finding spots. And the times BlameF's gone aggressive outside. He's not really found much in those rounds, unfortunately.
They do carry over 2 SGs thanks to some of these exit kills they were getting. I mean, they're going to lose the round, obviously, but those are still brilliant weapons to be able to carry over into the next round. So they're going to get some value out of this one, but they need to find some wins. I think if you let FURIA get a couple of more rounds on T-side Nuke, I don't know how you come back from that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's getting to the point of no return, almost, it feels like. Because I don't know if I look at Complexity and think that this is going to be a big T-sided team on a map like this. And so this is starting to get me very worried for their sake at the very least. Obviously, if you're a FURIA fan, I mean, not cracking open the champagne quite just yet, but it's certainly a good look for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when they played in the Katowice qualifiers, they had a really rough T-side against Cloud9. That's why they wound up losing that game. They didn't show really much of anything on their T-side there. That was kind of their most recent T-side they've played. They haven't played very many of them is the thing. So again, that experience isn't really there, but we'll see if they can still shore up their CT side. Poison in a good spot with this AWP, does leg one and does kill another. So he's got a pretty good amount of value out of that.
Good smoke as well. That kind of suggests that he's still holding the angle, and Rush is in position on the lower side. So this is one of the rounds where, for the first time, Complexity actually have position ahead of the push, as opposed to FURIA creating a timing where the CTs cannot have enough time to rotate into position. Complexity are forcing FURIA to have to be just on the fly, concoct a second plan, and that plan can't be to peek into Poison because he's hitting his shots right now.
It's good to finally see him back online. I mean, I feel like that's what Complexity needed, was someone to be able to get a play and kind of give them a sigh of relief that they're not just going to have their rounds piled on them so rapidly. They just needed some breathing room, and it's been created by Poison. Config able to get one as well, and there you have it. Finally, Complexity, after a couple of rounds of loss and, of course, being down 0-5 to start the game, are finally getting a second round on the board.
Great shots from Poison here. As you said, this is a huge difference maker. And if he can continue to keep himself in the action with the AWP, you know, it's really going to work out nicely. And Nuke is an interesting map because for AWPers, it does require a lot of experience, because there's a lot of timings in terms of positioning, how you cycle through the various positions that you want to take. That is just, I don't really know how to explain it, but you see the very elite AWPers, they just have a really good sense for where to be at the right time. You know, Kenny, yes, you know, he made his name on Nuke, and it's a very hard map to AWP on. You know, Cirque as well as someone I also look to who finds great timings on a map like Nuke with his AWP defensively. And
can't forget Device, got to put him
Device,
up there.
Obviously, yeah, for sure. Device maybe the best of all of those,
right? For
sure. It's a map for, you know, very experienced AWPers. So Poison, that's one thing that we know he doesn't have too much of just yet at the top level.
Opening kill does go the way of Rush, though, so they're starting to finally get some nice early advantages in some of these rounds, something they weren't able to do for the bulk of this game. So they can continue to convert, as we do see Art looking to get aggressive here on top of Mini. BlameF playing towards CT, though, is certainly going to have kind of eyes peeled on any type of wrap attempt.
Be a small gap to work with here for Poison. Yes, absolutely so. Great shot. Good position too, mixing things up. FURIA were not expecting that. Now they're down to 3 against the 5 of Complexity. So this is a fantastic start. FURIA really having to work for any position at all. They've got something to work with now, but it's not that great. They're still locked out at the bomb site. There's a quick flashbang. Config! Oh god, how did he not get that? Completely blind, of course, but it looked like he's still going to get it. Poison! Oh my god, please. Just hits every shot! Oh, this guy, when he does it in style, doesn't he?
That's a couple of rounds now where he's multi-fragged. He had that double kill situation over towards Ramp Room not that long ago. And now he's had this round here. He's been able to dispatch of several members all by his lonesome.
What even is that?
Shots. Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible what he can do when he's feeling it. I think he's definitely going to be a name to keep an eye on in the opping department for the future. They can definitely be one of the top ones for 2020.
Send all the CSGO talent scouts to Bulgaria, man. They've got something about the orbs in that country. Config and BlameF looking to stop this squeaky push. There's only pistols. And those pistols will be dealt with. Put in their place.
Unless we finally get an easy round, Dan. We finally get a chance just to be able to get one under their belts without too much resistance. And there you have it. It's going to be a number 4 for Complexity. That's now 3 in a row. So starting to finally establish their CT side a bit here. Money is still kind of tight for FURIA. They can obviously buy this round, but the problem becomes the long term. They're kind of in that buy-save rotation territory almost if they keep losing rounds. Complexity, on the other hand, have actually now established their economy in a big way. Even after they've bought everything they could possibly want, they still have BlameF just under 10K, and many of those members are over $5,000.
Early ramp pressure coming in from FURIA this time, and the squeaky pressure will be dealt with by Config, making it look easy this time around, so that early lurk smoke not working for FURIA now.
It's the second time Art tried that. The first time he did actually get a pick onto Heaven. This time Config shut it down, so that's a good adjustment from Complexity to put a stop to that. Now have a quick 5-on-3 in front of them, so again, they're starting to really find their groove, starting to get these nice opening exchanges going their way. That's been making the world a difference.
And Complexity, they gave up the ramp position, but they got a frag out of it, so it's not really for free. And you can see Rush has got a great reposition, and he's got all the 1v1s, every single one. There's one more to go. Will it be a clean slate? No. Yuri will take him down, but he's against 4 now. Bomb can be picked up, but he's got to walk around, and that gives so much time for the Complexity players to run down to position. Trying to cover the exits, not overstepping, and Yuri really wanted to see somebody go a bit over aggressive there, but they held it. Good discipline from Poison and the rest of Complexity.
Poison hits so many headshots with an op. It's like something I've noticed. You know, usually you're not going for that when you're opping because you just know that you just need to hit anywhere except for like the legs or arms or something like that. Just get that chest shot, you're good. It's a bigger target, but he hits a ton of headshots with the op.
He just wants to make sure.
Yeah.
So they're really dead.
Really wants to get that 400 and something damage per shot.
All right. Another pistol round for FURIA, so another potentially easier round overall for Complexity to contend with. And it really looks like a very different half. It took a while for Complexity to get started, but now they're looking like they found their flow. I think specifically, you know, Poison and Rush towards this ramp position, like shutting it down. Oh, team kill there.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Rush obviously doing some damage and all of that, but oh my goodness, they're actually getting a couple of kills. They actually found their way into the lower site. Config in a bit of trouble now, but he's able to get a safer angle. Starting to reposition as well. Actually comes up close. This could be risky. Oh no, he's been caught by Yuri's op, and now it's a 2-on-2, and Complexity might let this one slip.
Yeah, they actually cannot afford to let this round go. This would be a hugely upsetting for Complexity. They need every single CT round, and sure they got money in the bank here, but they can't be giving up rounds. They need all of the remaining rounds. They can't really stress it enough. And right now they're coming into a retake, which is unfavorable. Look at this great shot from Yuri. He's not going to miss that one. Beautiful shot, really. And Obo, who's been struggling on Nuke so far, is now left in the 1v2 clutch. Doesn't know where the second player is, and that's a huge problem. There's the spot, but now he's dealing with the AWP. Good transfer attempt. Oh, he gets it. Oh, he's actually insane. Trying to make this work. It's very difficult, and Yuri, he's got headshots as well, not just Poison. There's a good attempt from Obo.
I thought he might have it there for a second. He actually had me believing for a bit, but at the same time, that is a rough loss take if you're Complexity. Those are the ones you got to get. I mean, you've already given up so many rounds here on your CT side, particularly just going down 0-5 to begin with was already a bit of a nightmare, and a round like that is one that you're going to come back to and kind of kick yourself for.
Yeah, and I think, you know, well, I'm not going to go into that, the analysis of the previous rounds. Onwards and upwards here, 8 rounds for FURIA, 5 for Complexity. Again, they have a lot of money in the bank just because they've been so successful in some of the previous rounds. BlameF is going to hear the scuttling across the smokes or behind the smokes.
Yep.
Down to Secret, and the repositioning is not actually quite there just yet. Rush is playing the same position he's always been playing down here.
Yeah, that 4-round run that Complexity had, they survived with 4 or more members in every single one. So that really did help them build up the cash they need to make sure they have a full buy for the rest of the half. But they need the victories. You know, buying's great and all, but you have to connect the dots. Because FURIA is off to a roaring start on Nuke here. Such a brilliant T side thus far. They've pretty much exercised control of everything they wanted. I mean, there's really been, it's been kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It just seems like they get away with everything.
Yeah, this is a really scary round in many respects. FURIA just kind of waiting for a response here. Complexity waiting with bated breath for this push, and Config will take down the first one. So that's going to be a nice start for Complexity, but still very tense on this bomb site. Rush picks off another one, and FURIA, they really slowed this one down, but it doesn't seem to be paying off for them. Now it starts to get harder and harder as time goes on. Finally, Rush gets taken out, but Poison again, he's in position, and when he's in position, he doesn't seem to miss, and he will at least get the bomb planted and apply the bomb plant pressure to the CTs. Now they've got to make the move. They've got to force their way into the site, and K Serato and Henny are looking very dangerous with these Kriegs, looking for the headshot scope. Then that's insane! K Serato, he's so quick, there's no time to respond, and now it's a 2 versus 2. Henny's got a great angle with this AWP. I don't know if there's anything they can do to stop this, and now it's just Poison going close, closes the door. He's holding the defuse right now. Will they go for it? Yes, they will open the door, and that's a wrap. Henny secures it, 9-5, and what a hold from FURIA.
Brilliantly done there. You can't really fault at anything they've done. It's just this big play from K Serato that pretty much put a damper on any retake opportunity that Complexity were hoping to orchestrate. And now there's just 1 round left in the half here. Complexity still again able to at least get a nice full buy, but they need this round. If you let FURIA get 10 on their T side Nuke, it's going to be so hard to come back from that. Especially because I'm just not sure if Complexity's T side is well fleshed out yet. But we'll see. Blamev trying to go back towards this outside aggression here. He's up close on red, playing behind the blue boxes, hoping that he can maybe catch a T, not looking. And perhaps blindside, and indeed he is going to find it, but Yuri had the great spacing to make sure that Blamev couldn't get more out of that. So it's all equal again.
Poison, with that presence outside, is going to once again keep things safe. And that alleviates a lot of pressure from Config, as he doesn't have to worry about any mini aggression. And now Henny, he's got to find a pick for FURIA. Vinny as well might not want to wait for that. Obo might actually give an angle. Oh, there's the push for the doors. Obo's got a perfect lineup there, and that's going to now just leave Henny alone. And he's looking for that rotation. He's going to get it, but at this point, what else can he do? Against 3 players, the bomb is down, looking for somebody to give him something. Will there be a lack of patience? Will there be a lack of discipline? Something, anything for Henny? No, nothing. Poison will take him down, and that's going to be that. We're going to see now 6 rounds of Complexity. I don't think it's enough, Dust. We're going to find out after this short break. For one of these two teams, it is the end of the line after this half, Dust, but who is it going to be? I feel like it's looking like it's going to be Complexity because they had an awful showing on that first half, and recovery is going to be very difficult.
I mean, they recovered, but it just came too late. I mean, they were so far down, and they did fight back, and they won themselves 6 rounds in like the last 10 that got played, so that's not bad, but they just couldn't close it out and like really take control of the game. But it was a decent enough recovery. At least it gives them a chance, right? They can win this pistol, work some magic, they might still have some hope.
And going for a fast play around the outside, actually, and Yuri is just lurking. We wouldn't expect a CT to be in this position. He could get set up for so many kills here. If he picks the right moment, it's difficult to know. He's starting to fire away with that USC. They can't even see him because it's silence. They have no idea where he is, but they're going to bypass the position. I think that is the smartest thing for them to do. But now K-Serato's going up the ladder, trying to catch them off guard. And maybe Yuri needed to get more than one because Complexity, hey, they didn't kill him, but they got better position, and now the bomb's down as well.
Yeah, it's looking pretty grim right now for FURIA on this retake, actually, especially with that kill for Poison. Yuri good for 1, but Complexity peeking together, trading efficiently. A great take from them through Heaven into the upper bomb site. A nice, well-designed pistol round strategy is going to have a big benefit, and then Poison just taking advantage of all the disturbances at Heaven to do his work at lobby. It was a great orchestrated attack there from Cole, and now it's 9-7. That's exactly what they needed. But
absolutely, yeah.
This is the problem, though. They have to get past this storm. This SMG buy. This is a very heavy second round buy.
Yeah, it looks really good, actually. And then aggression into the ramp, but they're ready. That's a great position for Obo. You can't ask for better. And he'll be able to secure it, and there is a nice crossfire of Rush. But actually, they somehow get the trades. They force their way through the choke points, and it's all about this lobby control. The bomb is outside, though, so that is the saving grace here. They don't have to have the bomb dropped in an awful spot, but K-Serato's made his way on top, but it might not matter here because it looks like Config and BlameF are well on the way.
No, he's stopping. He's still got this bomb. He's just kind of sitting here. It's all going to come down to, oh my goodness, if he looks, oh, Config's ready. No, he's waiting for it. Great job, Config.
Good call.
That was scary, though, I must say.
He must have had the ladder or something. There was maybe a sound cue there for him to know that.
That's definitely a possibility. Maybe he felt like if he tried to run, he would get shot in the back. Also, obviously, Obo is in a great spot. Basically the perfect position to deal with the type of play that FURIA are trying to run. And now they get gifted what should be a free tie game. I mean, there's nothing for FURIA really in this round.
It is pretty mad that FURIA did actually do so much damage there and made it look winnable. Very impressive, moving through the choke points. Even though Complexity was set up, they still did excellent damage. But another quick push. Poison not off to a good start on that spray, and they're losing a lot of health here. Rush has got 2, just barely. He's going to get taken down by the AK that was collected. K-Serato is dangerous for anything. He's been given an AK, and he is taking... Oh my god, he's taking liberties. Obo will finish him off, but Dust, that's way too much damage. Again.
That's a squeaky butthole moment right there, Dan.
That's bad.
I mean, you're full clenched on that one.
The problem is that, okay, you know, Complexity is cool, right? They do win the rounds. That's great.
But the economy.
Exactly. they need to have some clean rounds so that they can suffer a loss and keep their momentum going. Right now, if they lose this round, the momentum's gone instantly.
A lot rides on this round, you have to imagine, because of that situation that we've just described. Although grossly, to be fair. So my apologies for that, but Complexity slowing things down just a bit. Just probably setting up for some type of outside control. Probably going to see that outside smoke wall. That is kind of their bread and butter. It's similar to mid control and other maps where this is kind of the foundation that you play from. And I imagine that's what we're going to be seeing here. And indeed, those smokes are starting to come out.
We saw this actually a little bit less with FURIA's defaulting. They didn't have as much emphasis as most teams tend to around the smokes outside. But
I don't even know, maybe like once or twice the whole half they ran it. So yeah, you're right.
It's quite strange, and it seemed to work, whatever, you know. I mean, that's the thing. They always play this offbeat T-side on Nuke.
Right.
It's like what they were known for last year at least. But regardless, Yuri's going to kick things off here with a kill onto Rush. That's not going to be a welcome sign for Complexity Blame. If he can win this battle, though, that's huge. And with the HE Krieg combo, he secures it. 3v3, they have time to reset the situation. Looking maybe to split Mini and Squeaky onto Vinny, and that makes Vinny and Yuri key in this defense. They have good spots here. Vinny's hiding. This is perfect. Easy frag for Vinny. They don't even seem to really be able to get to him. And he's just so safe. They're going to, oh, this is a smart decision, rerouting things down to the lower bomb site.
It felt like a necessity at this point. The problem is they only have that one Molotov on config, but Obo at least catches his vent rotation right away and stands it off. And now he's wise to what's next, actually able to control the back calls as well. This is a smart play from Obo. And again, he knows there's one player that can threaten vent, so he's got his eyes on that as well. And so this is actually a pretty solid little setup here that Complexity has, and health is low on these two FURIA members. And they're running out of time. I don't even think they have a kit in play unless there's one fallen somewhere. So they have to really work fast if they want to try to still have a chance at this.
It's going to go right down to the wire. Here comes the play down the vent. Here goes Config, and both players, Obo and Config, delivering their kills. And I completely agree, Dust. The game sense from Obo, the level of focus that he had when he immediately goes away from the vent position after getting threatened there to look for the player coming on the flank, that's such a smart move, because that player thinks he's going to get the drop on Obo, but no.
It's insane. I mean, this kid is only 16 years old. He is, I think, maybe the youngest professional player probably right now, if I had to take a guess.
He has to be, yeah.
And this is only his 5th LAN, period. And he hasn't even ever played small LANs. I mean, this guy, his first LAN was ECS Season 7 Finals. His second LAN was the major. So, he's had to learn fast, man. I mean, that's all I can really say.
Wow.
And here's the thing. Until Blast, he was playing on complexity lines that weren't fully formed yet. Like, there was that transition period where they had gotten like Blame F and Rush, but they still had like Deft and company playing, and then they kind of further made that next move where you see Poison and company coming in. So it's been like this transition period. He's had to play through all of that as an inexperienced player, and now he finally has the team, right? And that was cool to see him have that awareness already.
Yeah, that really made it so much easier. And Complexity, not looking too bad at the moment. 4 rounds in a row, all the rounds on the second half going to them. That makes me begin to believe this might be possible, honestly, because going into this half, it looked so desperately awful.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we didn't know if Complexity had a good T side. I mean, again, the sample size is still limited. When I've tried to watch their new games, it didn't appear like they had that much of one, but again, hadn't seen it enough. But now that they've proven, hey, we got a little bit of something on T side, now you can be like, okay, there's a fight ahead of us.
And as well, the game plan, the preparation, it's hard to know how Complexity have been setting themselves up for this series. And, well, so far, it's not looking too bad, but it could all change. We've seen things change so quickly between these two teams in this series so far. Yuri's going to pick up a kill. I don't know that gun... Okay, the gun will be protected by Poison. So Poison does not want to allow that gun to go into the hands of his opponents, but he actually can't go that deep to try to deny the gun itself. He's got to play from this position. It could be 2 players cross-firing up there. Be quite careful that he doesn't go down as well. Speaking of which, Henny ready, and, well, there definitely will be at least a gun collected. Henny will be the one to get it. Good round from FURIA. If you consider they just had the pistols, they will get damage and a creep out of this.
That's really well done. This forces so much rebuying out of Complexity. They have to rebuy 3 players. Their money isn't that built up yet. I mean, they've only won... I mean, they've won more of the rounds, but the problem is they've had to rebuy every time. I think every round except for the pistol, they've had to rebuy at least 3 players. So that is kind of a real problem. But at the same time, they've also been able to lock up this entire half thus far. And that is really nice for them because they've jumped up to a 2-round lead. It is the first time they've had a lead all game. So this is shaping up quite nicely for Complexity, actually. Now FURIA is the one on the ropes. They are the wilder of this situation.
Oh, for sure. It definitely is now that, I completely agree, that position where FURIA have got to start scratching their heads. Look at the playbook, figure it out. Because right now Complexity are finding that groove. And they're definitely a team that plays really well when they start getting that momentum, they start feeling it individually. It becomes a little bit scary. Poison on the AWP. We haven't seen too much from him as a T-side AWPer on Nuke just yet. It can be an awkward map, right, for an AWP, but initial nades towards the door. Slow from Complexity, but it may be very deceptive because it looks like they may want to go for a burst here after that initial utility. There's the burst into the upper bomb site. Yuri, what the hell was that? I don't understand the physics on that one.
How is it always headshots? Every time he opts someone, I swear it's a headshot. It's actually great. I don't get it. I can't wait to watch that replay. Hopefully he can win the round, but it's going to be hard 1v3. In all of that madness, we did see Furia, be the more efficient team in the fragging department, despite the crazy antics of Poison.
And here he goes, down the vent. He wants to try to outposition the CTs. There's still one on lower. It's a 1v1 though. If he wins this, it'll be huge. Poison, he doesn't get himself a chance at that one. K-Serato denies him. And Furia, they pick up their first round. Complexity, they try to throw a wrench into the works there, Dust. It just looks so easy and calm. I don't really get it, but that's cool, I guess.
Here's the problem that we were talking about, though. Is this a situation that we were fearing for Complexity? Is that they've got nothing. They've got nothing in the tank.
Yeah, they lost too much money on the rounds that they've won.
Double op in play for Furia, by the way. That's a bit interesting. I feel like you see it sometimes on Nuke CT side, but it's definitely not as used as on other maps where it's like kind of a common fixture of the defense.
Yeah. Furia, Complexity won 5 rounds in a row. The first round they lose, they're broke. Completely broke. And that is not typical.
It's just because a lot of the rounds actually did come pretty close.
Furia played really well.
Yeah.
They played really well when they were low econ. And Art is going to turn his attention here towards the outside. Config? Oh, okay. Config's going to move out into position. Out of position, I should say. And it looks like there is not too much else to really speak of in this round. There's a Deagle or two, and that's really it.
I like to see a timeout from Complexity, honestly, just to, focus back up. I mean, they obviously have been tearing up this half, and maybe that's why they probably wouldn't want to take one, because they feel like they're winning most of the rounds. But this is a very important next round, because, I mean, your money is kind of in disarray. You're going to get a full buy here next, sure, but if you lose, you're back to saving again. That's when Fury starts building up a lead. So whether or not they talked over maybe something in that pistol round, I just think that this is where they need to dig deep and come up with their best play.
Yeah, they need to crush the money immediately of Furia.
Exactly.
And it feels like such a difficult ask. And as you say, the double warp setup from Furia, it's really unusual. Again, it's really offbeat. That's just generally how I think you can describe Furia and how they play. And it's going to be interesting to see what the result is here as Complexity go quite far forward. Oh my god!
Ow.
That's a huge whiff. And with that, a Krieg is collected. And Complexity have some fast position down secret.
Dan, that's a hard one to watch.
That is not, that's rough. That's real rough.
Oh, okay. No, it's continuing. The whiffs are apparently contagious right now for Furia, but K-Serato is at least able to get away with this life and get a new angle, so he still can pose a threat going forward. But as you noted, Complexity has such good positioning, but Finny, this is a nice little backstab here at Decon. He's going to be able to take down Blame F. That gets the numbers back even here. Still a long time left to go on this round as well. It means Complexity can kind of take their time, but they're also just conceding all the ground. Now Furia are getting all the positions they could want for a retake. They have all the kind of angles covered. They know that Complexity is kind of trapped in this area, but somehow,
that late lurk, the late lurk from Rush breaks the stalemate. And now they can move forwards with advantage, potentially, or go back upstairs. They can cut noise a little bit. And now Furia are going to start wondering, Yuri, he's the only guy that can actually stop this. And beautiful. Poison jumps out there, baiting, and Rush finishes it off. Great team play from Complexity, and they look like they're now out. They've outpositioned Furia, and now Furia have no legs to stand on in this retake.
It's all Rush, man. Those 2 kills he got basically opened up an avenue to get back into the upper bomb site. And then the efficient trading of Yuri. Yuri had such a good angle to make sure he only got 1 kill from that spot is so brilliant. And yeah, they're just going to save these 2 weapons. So Complexity going to get right back to their winning ways after losing a couple. They will be right back to being victorious. They'll take the lead now 12-11. And it's a neck-and-neck battle. You wouldn't want to have it any other way. You're trying to decide who's going to go on to those grand finals to play against Gen G. So much on the line between the lion's share, the $100,000 prize pool, the slot for the DreamHack Masters Young Chirping in the summer, going up the ESL, DreamHack Pro Tour ranking system for future invites and qualifier positions. I mean, there's a lot of weight on this game, and Complexity, they're looking up to the task.
It's just so awesome to see from a young team like this, just the level of detail sometimes. Oh, you went and did it.
I didn't want to see it again, really.
You went and did it. But to be fair, that's a really important moment in this one.
Yeah.
And also the thing there with Yuri, again, like, Yuri wins that round if Poison doesn't bait his shots out like that, because he'll get a much faster kill on the first player and then be able to shoot the second player. And Rush doesn't have nearly as much time to try to trade it. And so it just those small bits of detail, knowing that that's the one way you lose the round and then having an answer for it ahead of time, shows that Complexity are really dialed in right now and looking really focused.
The thing is that that's like the one time you could have gotten the jump on Complexity playing that position, because that position gets used by CTs a decent amount to catch Ts off guard as they think they can just waltz down the stairs, because their first point of contact they think they're going to face is back halls. But now that you've run that gambit and failed, now Cole's going to look for that. And so you kind of lost your chance to pull the wool over their eyes. And that could definitely play into the mind games going forward. But
Complexity really have to do this the hard way too, because we talked about them winning that last round to break the money, but FURIA did have enough money to get another buy-in, so they have to do it all over again.
Yeah, and meanwhile their money is still vulnerable, so it's still a very tight economic game. It's definitely one of those moments where I'm sure fans of these teams are on the edge of their seats because it's so tense right now. Outside smoke's going to be coming out from Complexity, but they're not going to be playing off the back end. They're actually going to back up, maybe trying to throw a bit of a feint that they are taking outside control, but they're really looking to pry it upper. But Vinny, he has a dangerous position, Dan.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll be cognizant of this. This is a fairly common response that CTs will try to get that position back in case of a burst through door, and that's why that smoke that we just saw, that especially that re-smoke, this got to be put into question at this point. Those close positions, Complexity are going to be in trouble if they go for this upper play. It looks like FURIA are really ready for this. We'll see how it pans out, though. Oh, the timing is pretty good. Oh, I don't know what the hell just happened there. He went back up the ladder and got another one, but Yuri from up high is dealing all the damage that's necessary to make this a good look for FURIA. There's still players left, though. Blame and Config, they keep the round alive, and they have position. There's one stuck in the vent. They know Art is in the vent still, in case Serato's now rotating around through Mini. So Complexity, they should be good to have this bomb go down and cover it. And there's the flash up high as well to keep it safe, extra safe. Oh man, they have a really good chance here. I don't know how they've turned this around. There's the next peek towards Mini. Now they know where K Serato is. Config, got to bring out that Config game. Two players, one from Hut, one from Mini. Config doesn't know that though, as he looks for the next engagement, the next point of contact. Oh, he's so fast! Config's done it! That's absolutely ridiculous that Complexity find a way back in the round. They had this insane timing. I don't even get it, but it happened. It's a thing. And they're 13-11.
It's been a while since I've seen this config, Dan, and I'm loving every second of it, bro. He is a human highlight reel whenever he's in shape. He was always known for having that crazy good first bullet accuracy, crazy known for being able to create openings, to be a playmaker. His days coming up through Dignitas, when he's played alongside like MSL and KRB and Tinsky, and that's where he started making a name for himself. He obviously transferred over to North with a lot of those guys and continued to build up his kind of reputation as a star-level entry player. And, you know, he had his off period. There was that whole Thorn article that came out, and he responded to that and said that, you know, I want to make a comeback. And, you know, he found a home here on Complexity. Some people criticize Complexity for taking a gamble on him. You could see both sides of that argument, I think, if you're being, you know, objective about it. But, man, he's been lighting it up here in Anaheim.
Yeah, honestly, these mid-round clutch situations from Complexity, even if they're weaker strategically, if you can do stuff like that, if you have the sense of the game like they're showing us, they can still win from positions like they started in, which is a terribly out-of-favor position. Not enough rounds on the T side, but every intense situation, they give it a good go, and we're seeing it actually now pan out. It's 13-11. They look like they're going to take this one.
There's no doubt now his aim is back. Like, I mean, I think we're seeing that. I mean, it's just about stringing it together consistently, though, is going to be the thing. But Hitty, that is a nice little op shot to find, kind of a lucky shot through the smoke. And he gets another onto Obo, down to 1 HP. He won't know that yet, but he has done so much work on his own. That is scary.
Oh my God, he's done it again.
Oh my God, how does he keep doing this? I think he might have spotted a little bit of something before he took that shot. It wasn't a complete blind shot that time around, but still, he's done so much work.
He might have done too much here. This is going to be very hard to recover from. Now, as you say, he doesn't really quite know the amount of damage that he has done. He doesn't know that there's like 150 plus damage that he has done. He doesn't know about it, which is quite amusing. However, his teammates are playing pretty safe positions. Once again, Complexity are going to have to deliver something pretty enormous.
He saw that.
Yeah, the Rush is just dead. Henny has him dead to rights here. There we go. And now what are you going to do? There's just nothing left. There's nothing left for Complexity. They've been gutted by these AWPs. And he's having the time of his life in this round. And they just got to give it up. They couldn't even run around here. This is just ridiculous.
That's actually great. Like, it just happens sometimes. Like, every now and then, as an opera, when you just take those guess shots, whether it be like double doors on Dust 2, or whether it just be through smokes on long angles, or whatever the case may be, sometimes those shots are just going to connect, and it's just going to mean the world of difference in how the round plays out. I mean, this is just a complete blind shot on Blame F. Just happens to get a nice timing here on Rush on the flank, and obviously we saw the damage he did previous to that outside. So finally, FURIA are going to take a swing back. They've only won 3 rounds this half.
That's a gift from the gods right there.
Yeah.
That round. That's such a that puts the situation. That puts FURIA in a situation where they get a little bit of breathing room in an otherwise extremely difficult situation where they're losing rounds. A bunch of rounds, and a lot of them have been these clutches, these rounds where they started out in advantage, and then it's not through them necessarily misplaying it, but just a little bit of luck mixed in with a lot of clutch from Complexity and great team play that allows Complexity to somehow make that disadvantage turn out into an advantage eventually and into a round win. So FURIA needed something like that.
That's going to give it a chance to tie this game up now, too, because Complexity are working with very little here. I mean, they have the Scout on Poison. They have a couple of rifles. Config has been deadly with the AK, if we're being completely honest, these last couple of maps on T side. So maybe, just maybe, he'll still have that magic to pull something off, despite the fact that they are limited in their firepower.
Yuri's really been a god in this game for FURIA. He's doing so well.
Yeah, 26 kills. He's definitely looking back in shape. I was kind of worried about him because I know he had a tough end to last year, and he was one of the star players of this team next to Queserado, and so to see him back in shape here in Anaheim is a good thought for FURIA. Henny, a little bit of a one-way to peer over here, over towards CT spawn. Not going to catch anything from it, though. Complexity taking their time, very patient as they approach red.
Oh, God, that's so dangerous. Oh my God, it's so dangerous. Going up there when, you know, Henny's outside, he's basically Thor dropping the thunder. And I don't know how they managed to dodge that thunder. But here we go. Art's now turned his attention, cutting down one of the players, Obo, on the outside of this quick push down to the lower bomb site. They need a fast timing for a plant. They need the money in the bag. They need that bomb plant. Vinny looking to deny, though. And, oh, Blame F is going to... Oh, God, okay. A couple of headshots later, and it's a 1 versus 3. The bomb... Oh, it doesn't go down. That's a big shame for Complexity. They really could have used the extra cash. They're going to have to save regardless, but if they got that extra $800, that's 5 deagles for each player. But, but they can't really afford to spend, they can't afford to deco right now. They have to actually, I think, full save.
No, this is where FURIA starts taking control back again in this game. Very likely they're going to find this 14th round. I mean, there's really no way they shouldn't. It's just Glocks for Complexity that shouldn't have any business having impact in this round, but...
Just going all the way, Dust. It's going down to the wire.
Wouldn't have it any other way in such an important game. Had some intense matches, that is for sure, throughout this tournament. A lot of close calls, a lot of overtimes. Maybe we'll even get some of that in this one. We'll never know. Oh, Henny spots a little bit of something there.
Trying to force it out. He knows, oh, he missed the molly, unfortunately for him. It's not supposed to bounce off a mini. It's just about waiting for the T's to push. They don't have to hold any aggressive positions because they don't want to get swarmed by the numbers. That's all that Complexity have to work with is numbers. So instead they want to take positions like this where they line up, and now if you want to get that gun, well, you got to move through Henny. So it should be a terminal velocity there. But they actually do collect the Krieg. Obo's on it.
Yeah.
And
a small victory for a round where you only have Glocks to actually get a rifle in your hands. It's going to be hard to do a lot with it, though, for honest. I mean, Art has a great position here to stop them from going for some type of lower bomb plant. Indeed, there it is. There's the stop. Smoke down as well to give him a little bit more safety as he lurks around. But Obo could maybe find a shot here. No, not going to happen. Didn't have the armor to take an extended fight there, but Config jumps in for one, picks up that M4. So they're actually getting a lot out of this, despite the fact that it was Glocks only, to be fair.
Yeah, 2 kills is great. The economy for FURIA is sturdy enough, though, that at this point they can pretty much weather anything.
Right.
And their buy is not going to be, it will be unaffected by those kills. So that's good for them. And Complexity, they get their full buy-in, and you're not going to see an AWP on Poison. It's full rifles here, just a single creek for Robo. Going to spend everything to get the full utility as full as they can make it. And this is it. This feels like this feels like an incredibly important round here. I feel like if Complexity can't find a way forward with this one, I think they're screwed. They've got to make this round work.
This does seem like everything hinges on this for Complexity's lifetime in this tournament. FURIA, though, looking to try to, again, start their own redemption arc after a mixed bag at the end of last year. But it's not going to happen for Art this round. BlameF got so quickly into the back halls. Art trying to challenge after him is going to get caught.
This is huge because Blame is covering the rotational vent as his teammates go down secret. So the CTs only have really Henny in this position. He whiffed the first shot. Oh, Serato. He's managed to find position to do some serious damage here to this push. And what do they decide to do now? There is a rotation. They could go back up the vent. That is an option available to them. They've got time to take that bomb back up the vent. The spray comes through from Yuri. He's absolutely unstoppable so far, but he is the only one. And if they can take him down, oh, thank goodness, for Complexity's sake, Yuri is a complete god. And you can't give him a chance to win these clutches, to have 1v1s. He'll win them.
Oh, Jason Lake is out there sweating. I can tell.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He's up standing around. He's like hopping around. I can't blame him, man. This is a nail-biter, bro. This is a crazy one. 14-14. A tactical timeout comes in.
The money.
FURIA.
Actually, the money is not quite as good for FURIA as
no, it's
first
not.
thought.
I mean, whoever wins this wins the game. You have to feel just based on the economies.
Yeah.
Unless someone gets like a crazy, like low buy opportunity. Because the money's pretty tight for Cole too after they make their purchases here. So a lot is on this one. So much. It's been just tooth and nail, man. It's been a slugfest these last 6 or so rounds.
Deep breaths all around as we resume play. It could all come down to this, as Dust alluded to. Initial harassment around the door, blow it open, get the smoke through, get the fire through, deny angles, deny vision, deny position on top of the hut with the Molotov. Utility, counter utility has been thrown by FURIA. Henny's missing Kevlar. Now they're missing a lot of utility because they were so worried about the fast plays.
Yep.
And that's all according to plan. Look what FURIA have left. It's a minute 25, 2 smokes.
No
2
incendiaries.
HEs, 1 flash, that's it.
1 dream.
And 1 kit. Definitely a lot of problems here for FURIA. Complexity well set up. They've got a better look on utility. They don't have position outside. It's feeling like an upper take could be coming in. They're going to throw those outside smokes first.
Right.
See what they do with them.
Yeah, again, just kind of those smokes that can mean anything, right? I mean, you're just trying to show that it's possible you could be going lower to back halls, and you have to force those CTs to respect that position, but it's just BlameF doing it. He might be that late lurk into Mini to try to help pinch this upper bomb side, as again, as you noted, a lot of these guys are gathered up inside the lobby. You're starting to see them pour in now. Art, though, is top hut, but he gets taken care of by Ovo, and here come the teams coming in, but Vinny and Yuri are slicing and dicing them all the way through, leaving Poison left alone, and that's going to be it. It happens so fast. The dreams being ripped away from Complexity now, it seems. Now they have one last hope for overtime, but it's going to be labored with this economy.
This position, it did way too much damage. That did so much damage to us. There was no Molotov for it. The first trade didn't work, and then Complexity sort of in the chaos didn't quite realize in time, and it was too late.
Yeah, they killed the top hut player so fast too. It's the crazy part about that. But here they go, another fast upper push down.
This is for the game for FURIA! Yuri gets the great spray down, and Complexity might be done here. It's just Poison and BlameF that are left alive, as FURIA are looking too strong in this position. Burning BlameF, leaving just Poison, the young gun, to do what he can. He manages to extract an extra kill. He has the bomb on his back. There is some hope here for Poison. He's hoping that everybody's on the upper bomb side and that he's going to maybe beat a rotation here. He's going to have to go for a really fast plant, but they're really close to Decon right now. Over through the door, and Poison, he's done. He gets the bomb down, but there's no one to defend it, and that's going to be the game. Amazing stuff there from FURIA. Dust, they've actually pulled it off. I didn't think they were going to get here. So much resilience for both teams. You've got to give so much credit to both of them. Even though FURIA won this, Complexity showed us so much class throughout this series.
Yeah. I mean, I think with this combined with how they did at Blast, there definitely is some hope for that team and definitely a future for those guys over there. But FURIA, it's nice to see them back in the finals. I mean, I feel like they've really had their struggles. They had a lot of time off, and it's cool to see them back in better shape, seeing Yuri play a lot better, get back to the star player that he was before. And that was definitely a fun game. Definitely, you know, very, very close. That Nuke came down to the wire. Either one of these teams is worthy of being in the finals of this tournament. They played their hearts out, and I think both these teams are taking a step in the right direction. But that's going to do it for us, Dan. I think that's us done here at Anaheim. It's been a pleasure casting with you through these semifinals. It's been some fantastic games, and we're going to have the grand final set up for you now. You got old Gen G, who's been kind of waiting it out, waiting for their time to shine again on stage, and now they know who their opponent's going to be.
And it's going to be a difficult matchup. You're definitely going to be fired up, and I think that leaves us. Only one last thing to do, Dust. It's time to throw it to a quick break. We'll be back with the analysts to set up, well, to break that one down and to set up the next one. Enjoy.
Well, unfortunately, I was wrong. Complexity not able to take that victory over FURIA. An NA final will not be happening here on North American soil. My bad. I'm the host, Bach, Sean Garrison Potter. What happened? Why did I end up being wrong?
Look, I don't really care why you're wrong. That was a banging series. We got all three maps, third map going the distance. I think we saw the best out of both teams. Complexity has nothing they should hang their head on. I know this is going to sting. It's going to hurt a lot. But I was surprised by the grit they had to grind it out from that 9-9 moment where BlameF makes the play to jump through into the garage smoke. And then the round, shortly after that, Config wins the 1-on-2. Later on, BlameF drops down the vent. I mean, they were fearless, and they made plays in the end of that game that I thought they would never make in those scenarios. So hats off to Complexity. FURIA deserved this win, though.
They definitely did, and I gotta say, both of these squads going all the way back to Overpass and even this Nuke, the creativity, the buddy system, the trading, everything was top-notch, and you can see that both of these squads really emphasized that trading ability, whether it was that buddy system or whether it was my favorite, just straight up baiting the person and making sure you fully secure that trade. So I thought it was a beautiful series.
I mean, adding on to what you said, the innovation, the boost on Overpass. You love that triple boost, right? Good. That's so cool.
Overpass was so interesting because we saw so many times where it felt like Complexity was doing something just really peculiar that didn't make much sense.
Yeah, Overpass was a weird one for Complexity. You can tell they're too new of a team to have a deep enough map pool to probably hang with FURIA on Overpass. they really only had those dry monster hits. And they tried a couple other bomb site B hits, and they were semi-successful, but they couldn't get anything at A, and by the end of the match, it was too readable.
And it was really the same storyline for FURIA going back and bringing it over today. That chokehold, I mean, their aggression, they did not let Complexity breathe whatsoever. It was beautiful to watch from FURIA.
Well, speaking of FURIA, Art over here on the interview couch in the living room. Gonna march on over here. I love that our dining room and our living room, just open floor plan is great.
The oranges are great.
Yeah, the oranges are fantastic. Feel free to help yourself.
Nice.
They've only been sitting out all weekend, and a lot of people have touched them, so don't, yeah, exactly. Congratulations on the win. I guess I should apologize for doubting you guys, because I thought that Complexity would come out and just guns blazing, and to an effect, they did. What was going through your team's mind on map 1 when Complexity was just round after round after round, picking up rounds over you guys?
Actually, on the first map, I think we struggle on the gunfights and the duels. I think on the start of the game, we actually got good reads on them. We knew what they're doing, but it was just hard for us to read the shots. So I think that was our struggle on the start of the Mirage. And I thought we managed to get some rounds, we believe, but they just kept rolling.
How important was that sort of late comeback, even though you guys didn't take the map, into the second map? Having more rounds, did that help the mental state of the team compared to getting like 16 forward and completely blown out?
No, I don't think so. I think we are confident on, even if we took like 16-2 or 16-3, I think the confidence was the same, because we knew that we just lost on the CT side, and we know our T side is strong, but we just struggle too much on CT for a comeback, so we know it was just a problem on the map, not on overall.
Potter, Sean, you guys have some questions as well.
Yeah, Art, I wanted to ask you about Vinny. I think with his new role, it seems like he's taking over a lot of those aggressive responsibilities that seemed like in 2019 was solely all on you. How has that changed the dynamic within the team for yourself and for Vinny?
I think we're still trying to find our pace at the game, but Vinny is feeling more comfortable now and doing his things and just playing more aggressive. Before he was just playing more passive and support style, and now he's playing more aggressive and chasing for kills. So I think that's better for him. Playstyle that fits him more.
Hey Art, Sean here. I was curious, when it comes to your guys' playstyle, you guys have a very unique playstyle where you're hyper aggressive. You in particular, actually. Do you prefer to play against teams like Complexity who match your playstyle, or maybe play against a more strategic team like a Gen.G or a North that you could have faced in the final?
I would say more strategic teams. I think they are easier for us to play because our playstyle fits better against them. Against more teams like this, or like us, it's harder for us to play. It's always like that, but we don't really matter. We just want to play.
All right, well, thank you for the interview. I know you guys have a lot of prep work, and you'd probably like to get some food in your stomach before you guys go into that grand final. Good luck later today.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Hey, we are going to walk right on back on over, strut my stuff back to this desk, past the peacock in the red coat. I'm told you have a highlight you really wanted to dig up there, Potter. What is it?
So this is going to be a replay going back to that boost that Sean was mentioning. This is a 3-man boost going over to the overpass. And look, it looks very simple and it looks very easy to execute, but this is all about timing. These guys have been running distractions through that monster. You can see the member in Oboe really dedicated towards that monster. It's because there's so much attention towards there. They throw a nice pop flash coming out of Henny. The timing was perfect. The execution was perfect. And I love seeing innovative, creative plays just like this to really get an easy kill. And it seems like these kinds of ideas, we don't see enough of them. So those kinds of plays gets me excited.
Another small detail to notice about that clip is you saw that Heaven was smoked as well as the outside of the site. And the reason why FURIA did that is because if there's a guy in Heaven and you're triple boosting right there, 100% you're dead.
Yeah, he's going to see you while you're trying to jump.
He's going to see your head. So what you need to do is get people to not look in that direction. You want them to look at the choke points, and that's what they did by throwing all that utility.
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool, and even just checking social media at the time, I was scrolling through Twitter, and I saw multiple pro-level players saying, I don't think I've ever actually seen that done in a match. Like maybe in a pug someone tries that.
Definitely haven't seen it that
but not done that well. Yeah. Like how many times do you do a 3-man boost and get 2 kills? Usually it's super sacrificial, and you're lucky if you get 1.
Yeah, they had a lot of success with boost too. They did one in like the bench by Sands at Short A, where they killed a guy, who was it, like Henny pushing bathrooms?
Something like that, yeah. We saw it
really
multiple times.
Well, both our semifinals are done. We know who's going to be playing in the finals. It's Gen.G versus FURIA. We're going to throw things to a quick break. When we come back, it'll be the grand finals starting here at DreamHack Open Anaheim 2020. Stay tuned.